without it. It's basically something that as soon as you ignore it, you'd be left behind. It's a go-to for everyone, right? And then the thing is, everyone uses AI, one way or the other. We have students using AI, we have doctors using AIs, we have web developers using AI, we have graphic designers using AIs. Everyone uses AIs, one way or the other. And the ideal thing is to use it to improve your workflow, not to replace it, right? AIs aren't meant to replace, they are meant to improve. And that's a mistake most people do. And another thing we should consider is that AIs, they are more or less systems to help make your work effective, the most effective versions of yourselves, right? And an AI is only as powerful as the person prompting it. That's another thing we should consider. So just to get started, the whole point of this is to talk about how to improve our test management, our test document management using AIs. And the first thing is first, why do documentations feel like a chore to us? The thing is, every single person needs documentation, from our stakeholders to the actual developers to we, the QA team. We need documentations. They are the most important aspect that we do not recognize. We have the whole idea of documentations being so manual that it becomes a chore for us, right? We have as merge, it becomes outdated. You let's say a report for January or a report magically switching to becoming a report for March, right? That report stays in February, and then a new report is generated for March. And having to do this every single time. And for those of you that are QAs, those of you that are PMs, you understand the importance and how much documentations you have to do as you go by. And then there's this thing we call the blank page syndrome, where whenever you start a documentation, you look at a blank page and you go like, where do I start? How do I start? You get overwhelmed with doing nothing, that you end up doing nothing. You get it. So you get stuck on a blank page. And that's one of the things that becomes a chore. So as soon as you think of creating a document, you go like, how do I start? Then it puts you off. And then consistency. Every single person has their own unique way of putting documents out there. One engineer would create a bug report completely different from a different engineer, right? And the thing is to strike consistency, right, amongst our documents. And one thing that worries us is finding that structure, that consistent structure, having to say a structured document that would follow a single pattern. It's hectic, it's stressful, right? And that's where we come with AI. Come in, be down on most of all of those issues we have when it comes to documentations. We have incredible AI models out there. We have insane LLMs that are constantly being improved upon. We have the big three, which obviously is OpenAI, ChatGPT. We have Google's Gemini, and we have Claude, right? And these are all they have their own, based on usages, based on reviews. They have their own special stuff. We have ChatGPT giving you more general insights, right? And all one-stop LLM for everything you have. Like everyone goes to ChatGPT, but then we have Gemini that's really putting their weight is catching up. Like Gemini are doing insane things. We have Claude for most long documentation, coding, and but then we have QA specific models that do incredible stuff too. That would actually, should I say, focus your efforts in QA and not have a lot of other things to run through. For instance, we have jam.dev. Now, jam.dev is a really cool concept, right? What it does is most of them come in the form of an extension, a browser extension. What you do is you install it in your browser and it records your screen as you test. So let's say you are working with a web application, right? And you find a bug. What happens is Jam Dev records your screen, right? And all you have to do is connect it with whatever management tool you're using. So I'll speak on where I am really good at, and that's with Jira, right? So our company works with Jira. Jira is our management tool. And what happens is with Jam, you can actually connect it to your Jira. And after you spot a bug on the screen, what you just do is you just click on the record and it will record it. It will reproduce the steps, and then it would create a bug, a really comprehensive bug, and then post it on Jira. So you don't have to constantly go back on Jira and actually try and then create these bugs. The thing is, most people actually end up saying that you spend more time creating bugs than you actually do finding bugs, which is somewhat true, depending on the kind of testing you're doing. But again, it is true regardless. And it's one of the things that is really off-putting when it comes to reporting stuff, right? Then we have Post AI, which is Postbot that runs in. Sure. You have a question?
Yeah, Derry. So you mentioned that the AI creates back ticket Jira.
Yeah.
So how does it work? I think the issue happens from the UI before you try to create a bug report on Jira. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does it work? How is it connected?
So what happens is for Jam is constantly recording your screen when you test, when you enable it in your browser extension, it's recording your screen. So what happens is you find an issue, let's say you click on a button, it gives you an error, right?
Yeah.
So it records that. Now, what you do is you click on the extension, it gives you a pop-up that asks you to report it. Now, you indicate that you are reporting a bug. You give it a short title, right? And with a short title, what happens is it would pick that title, look at the screen and the recording that you've given it. Now, the recording is a long recording, so you can cut it out and pinpoint exactly where the bug starts and where the bug ends. Right now, it looks at these steps, it reproduces the steps, the clicks, what you do, right? It gathers that data, it goes in, gets the logs and every other thing, like the device, the browser type, and all the other essential details you need, and then it creates comprehensive bug reports. And now here's the case, it's Jira, right? So when you are linking it, you choose the Jira board to which you are going to report it on, you choose the kind of ticket you are reporting and everything. And what happens is it just goes there and it reports it directly there. You can even add your labels, you can add comments and everything, just Jira extension. It's really cool. You should look into it if you have the time.
Yes.
And then we have Postbot. I wouldn't say I know much about Postbot because I post management, right? And I don't use test team a lot, so I can't really talk much about them. But they are really, from my research, they are really good specific QA models, right? Agent models, right? But now we come down to RoboChat, which is my favorite. I have used RoboChat so much, right? Luckily for us, Fido, we have incredible developers. So I'm soon be abandoning RoboChat and switching to our in-house system that we built, right, to run our own agents. And these agents are built and trained by each team to help become a co-pilot. So the QA team, I was fortunate enough to be the one to train ours. It works really well, and it might soon replace all these specifics. But I can't say the same for every single person out there. So I'll point out the stuff you could have access to and you could actually take advantage of. And that comes down to Robo. Robo is built in Jira, which is the test management tool we use. And what it does is it's basically like a floating chat in Jira. I'll show that to you later. And what it does is it takes whatever ticket or wherever it is you are as a context. You can also specify by maybe pasting tickets and ticket codes and all that. And what it will do is it will pick the user story that is connected to use that as the context, pick all connected tickets to that particular story, and generate whatever test document you need. If you want test cases, it will generate for you. If you want test plans, it will generate that for you. And if you want even reports based on, let's say, a dashboard in Jira, it will be able to do that for you, which is really cool. So yeah, so basically understand how AI works, or I believe that most of us understand how AIs work. You pick Jonas.
Yeah. So I would love that you do some little demonstration with regards to this presentation that you're doing. So
Oh, yes. So I would do a short demo at the end of this for RoboChat, which is what I have. Unfortunately, due to privacy concerns and security reasons, I can show you what we have on our personal agent, which is real cool. But at least I'd be able to show you something on Robo.
Yeah, sure. All right, thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, now back to this. We all understand that in order for you to get the best out of AI, it all comes down to your context. Context is everything. I know we've all heard about it. Talk about prompt engineering. We talk about context, and it's everything because you need to understand the concept of garbage in and garbage out, and it works with AIs too. It's computer. So you put in your stories, the engine structures, clarifies, and formats the story, and then it gives you an output. And that's basically how the AI works, right? Now, before I continue, I would like to break something we call the magic myth. Right? And like I was mentioning, garbage in, garbage out. AI is not magic. It doesn't know what you're thinking. It can predict what you're thinking, but it doesn't know what you're thinking. It doesn't know the facts. It can get the facts from a data source. It can get the facts from a database, but it is not a database, right? So it depends on the kind of data you give it as a source. So if you give it bad data, you give it insufficient data, it would give you insufficient response. It would probably load it with a lot of hallucinations, which I'll talk about later. But the truth is, everything relies on your prompt. So as a QA engineer, one of the most important things is you actually understand prompt engineering for you to be able to make the best out of AI when it comes to just not your documentations, but all the other workflows. So this was something I call the golden prompt, right? It's basically a prompt architecture that is like a guide to getting the best out of your prompting process, right? You call it the context, the creed. I call it the creed with an A, right? So it has context where you give the AI context on what it is or who it is you are, right? You give it the role to which you want this particular context you've given the AI to perform. You give it examples so that it gives it extra context, it gives it more things to work with. Then you give it adjustments, instances where you want it to a few things here and there, you give it that, and then you give it the delivery, how you want it delivered to. Right. So this framework, I feel like it's one of the things you should actually take note of when you are giving AI prompts, especially when it comes much more general public LLMs like Gemini and ChatGPT, because these ones have context predefined. For instance, ours we work with from Fido is basically an agent designed by the QA team to do QA work. So it has context in the instructions. We're giving it context. We're giving it stuff it should do, steps it should take when a particular thing is asked for. For instance, you ask for a report, it knows what exactly it has to do. It has templates in its instructions that it's supposed to use to create reports for you. So this is specialized. So you don't really have to worry too much about context, even though it's still necessary. But for public LLMs, context is everything. You need to ensure that you give it context. Then we have the human in the loop workflow. So one thing we need to realize is the AI isn't flawless. The AI doesn't cover every single thing. You need to be in the loop as you do your workflow with an AI. The AI generates a draft for you. It's supposed to generate a draft so that you can actually skip the blank page syndrome issue, right? So it generates a first draft for you. You use that draft, you verify it, you edit, you tweak variables in there, you sanitize it by taking out all the AIism that we call it, because where you have the AI giving you notes and comments within the response, you need to get rid of all of that. You sanitize it, and then you do a general overlook. You approve it before you then actually send that particular reply out there. So you have to make sure that you've gone through the entire thing right? You verify the entity, you sanitize, make sure that you've owned it before you let it go out there. So then we have, like I mentioned, AI isn't flawless, where AI actually sucks, where AI fails, humans succeed, right? We succeed. So I mentioned hallucinations before, and hallucinations are basically AI finding stuff that is there and putting them. The AI does that a lot. And if you are a developer, if you are a designer, you realize that there are multiple times that when an AI is generating a script, when it's generating codes for you, it adds stuff that are unnecessary, right? Are not needed, just things that are not there. So you need to point them out. For instance, I give an AI a screenshot saying, generate a test script for me or test cases for me. Right? What it does is it does that all right, but then it adds extra buttons. Let's say there's a part where there's a hyperlink, but instead makes it a button. That's definitely a hallucination, and you should actually get rid of that. So that's where your verification comes in, where you sanitize it and make sure that it actually tallies with what the original says. Then we have the issue with privacy. Okay, so this is very important, especially when you work with a company. In fact, it doesn't even have to be you working with a company, just you being secure enough. Your privacy is everything, right? So just think about it this way. Okay, there's the golden rule, right? That states that do not put anything inside a public LLM if you are not willing to put that same thing on a billboard. That's what it is. So you don't put PIIs, you don't put personal identifiable information in any public LLM, like let's say transaction IDs, like IP addresses, actual identifiers like names, company names, those things. Put placeholders instead, which I'll talk about when we come to the privacy part. Then, like I said, context. Context is everything. It doesn't know your business rules. It doesn't know your business do's and don'ts. It doesn't know your standards. So you need to give it enough context for it to be able to achieve those standards. As I mentioned, protecting our privacy, right? So you're putting, let's say, a story inside a model. What do? You ensure that you take out all data that could be considered sensitive. If they are internal IPs, you change them to placeholders, to tags. So for instance, you have a user's email address, right? So you change that to just square brackets, user email. Now what happens is when the agent runs it, wherever there's supposed to be a user email, they'll just put user email there for you to then come in, verify, and then replace them with the right thing. So always keep in mind, do not put personal information in any public LLM. Right? Secret API keys, just general stuff that you think would jeopardize the integrity of your company, of who you are. No, don't put it there. Edit it, anonymize it, and you'll be good. Okay, so we're down to the demo. Jonas asked for a demo initially, so I created
Now, the interesting part.
Yeah. So I did this initially just for the presentation here. So I think this is a typical ticket in Jira, right? And this is a story. Now the story talks about enabling a system-wide dark mode theme, right? That allows users to toggle it. Now, for instance, you have the PM, they created this particular story ticket. Now, you, the QA engineer, you come in, you see this. Yes, you read through it, but then you have to create a test plan for this. What you do is stressful creating a test plan. Now you are in Jira. This is Jira's interface. So you have robo chats that's floating here. I don't know if you can see me, but this is it down here. And then it's also up here. So you click on robo chat and it opens up just like this. Now what happens is it opens up like this, picking the ticket to which you are on as its context down here. So now it knows that its context is working with this particular ticket. Now, at this point, you don't have to really bother much with giving it a lot of other context. You just have to ask it that what should it do with these tickets. Now, let's see. Detail plan. And just even add test cases. Ideally, you should probably do them separately because you might want to export them into documents. So you can do a test plan separately, export that. You can do a test plan separately and export that. Right? Okay, so here you are. Sure, Jonas. What's up?
Can we record this so that maybe
Record it.
Yeah, I'm sure as you are recording part of it, so I'm sure we would, like I said, this will be shared on YouTube afterwards. You can watch afterwards the class.
Okay, so it's been recorded then. Awesome. Okay, so back to this. So like I said, it had context. You gave it context. You gave it prompt, asked it for a test plan, and it did. So here's it on the right. See if I can spread this out a bit. Good. So you have every single thing you need in a standard test plan. Here. Now, one thing I need to mention about Robo is Robo allows the user to, should I say, configure their own agents within Jira, right? So for instance, the QA team has their own agent within Jira, right? Under Robo that's specialized in just test documentation, right? And doing QA stuff. Now what happens is that particular agent can be linked to a Google Workspace account, for instance, a Google Docs, Google Sheets, whatever it is. So when you have documents like this generated in here, you can simply ask Robo to generate a Word or a Google document for you, and you can just take that into your workspace and edit it. Like I said, you always have to edit. You edit it and make sure that it's up to whatever standard. It has all the do's and don'ts you have, and then you get rid of it. You merge it and you're good to go. So this is basically it. It does everything for you. It can generate codes for you. It can generate test plans, test cases. Now, I'd like to mention something. We have other documents outside of just test plans and test cases, and that will come as reports. I don't know about you, but I don't like reports. Reports are very needed. They are important. They are very important, but I don't like reports because with reports, you have to get statistics. You have to get data from multiple points, right? For instance, with a QA, you need data from your staging environment. You need data from your production environment, right? You need feature data. So you need data on environments. Should you be a QA that actually works on both dev and staging, you need that. So it's something that you have to gather data from multiple sections. And if you don't have a well-organized structure in place, gathering this data is frustrating, right? So then you have AI that will help you do stuff like this. You have workflows, automated workflows that help you do stuff like this. I can mention a few of them, right? And one of them is simple. I did this thing for my company, which is, I think is really cool. I created a dashboard that gathers all our data, right? I can just show you a bit of that. What it does is it takes all the data I report on Jira. It takes all the bugs, the issues, the features that we work on. It gathers that data from Jira and it puts them on a dashboard. Now, this dashboard is then connected to the agent that I'm working with, right? It has a definite data source. It has a reasonable data source, a pool of data that is reliable. So now what happens is when I request, hey, real cool, fetch me a monthly report for the month of February 2026. Now, I don't have stats for that here because February isn't here yet, but what it does is it goes to this board, it picks the data here, it picks all the bugs reported in February. I have one created for the tech support team, which is for gathering production data. This is for staging. So it picks the data here for staging, it picks the data for production. And what it does is it summarizes that and it creates a comprehensive monthly report or release report or whatever report you need for your stakeholders. Right now, like I said, you probably cannot reproduce what I'm doing because you do not have the structures built in for that. But that shouldn't stop you from trying to build your own workflows. This is basically an example that something I came up with the team to try and build and make our workflows much more streamlined. But for you, you might not have the luxury of doing that. You don't have, so what you do is you use what's public to you, what's available to you, and that's by using agents like Rovo, like Jam, like big LLMs like Gemini and the rest to try and then figure out some of these things on your own. But mind you, before you can actually have a flowing system of documentations being generated for you, you need to have a structure. You need to have an actual system built, right? It might not come in easy at first, but believe me, when you have that system built within the first month, the rest of the stuff, it becomes really easy. Like you do not stress about anything, right? You can just, by a simple click of a button, and you have it, the document generated for you, and it's up to date with everything you need. We have workflows we've implemented in Slack. I can't show you that because I'll have to enter our Slack web page, which is under privacy. But we have Slack workflows that we actually initiate with / commands. So I could be having a conversation with a dev in Slack, right? We are talking about an issue I found or something I think might be a bug. We're having this conversation and he says, you know what, based on what we've said, it looks like it might be a bug. Now you are in Slack texting. Now they've told you that what you're talking about is a bug. Now what do? You then have to get out of Slack, go all the way to Jira just to report a bug. But no, what we've done is we've created a workflow where Slack is connected to Jira. So what you do is you say / command, something we call a / command, and then it will pop up a form asking you to fill in a bug form, asking you to fill in your details. And then it just fills in the details and it goes into Jira and it creates a ticket for you. So from the conversation you're having with a dev, you're able to create a ticket without actually leaving platforms, without actually switching between tools. So all these things being considered, you just need to understand that AIs help improve our workflows. They help create automated workflows for us. They help make our lives easier. However, before you can achieve that, you need to put in some groundwork. You need to give it context. You need to cover up most of the loopholes that most people actually tend to overlook, right? So basically, I really wish I could show more, but like I said, due to security reasons, I probably cannot show you what we work with in Fido, which I genuinely think would have been really cool to do. But like, you can make do with Robo. I can show you this though. So in Robo, you have agents here, right? Now, for me, we have multiple agents. We have the global translator. We have the teamwork trivia host. We have minor agents that Jira has created, Atlassian system has created for you. But the thing is, you can create your own. For instance, this here, which is the QA assistant that I created, right? Using instructions and configurations that was presented to me by Robo. And it simply just takes you to a platform like a studio of some sort and allows you to, you can even actually implement an extension to, I don't do that because I don't want Jira to be in other business outside of Jira. So I don't, but for you and for others that work with web platforms, right? We don't work with web platforms, we work with mobile platforms. So we barely do actual web testing, except for a few instances, but we usually work with mobile. So like I said, you can implement that extension and you can run with Robo from wherever it is you are while you are using your browser. Let's see if I can edit agent here, show you how the edit screen looks like. So this is it. All right. So you create your agent from this interface. It's a studio that's created by Jira. You give it the skills it can actually perform within Jira. One of the skills that I couldn't use with the general one was creating documentations, which I have within the QA agent. So I could actually get it to create documentations for me outside of just making it an in-chat reply. You would actually create a document, and the document would be styled based on, well, the AI's discretion. However, you then go in there and you make it company standard. Now, mind you, there's always an importance to making it your own. Do not copy and paste. Do not copy an AI's response without sanitizing and verifying it and pasting it and then going about your business. You look like the dumbest person on earth when it comes to light. Like, how lazy can you be? It has done like 80% of the work. All you have to do is 20%. Because before this, mind you, you're going to be doing 100% of all of that. But now, it's just like 20% of the work. And that's just verifying and sanitizing. And you're good to go. So that being said, should anyone have any questions that has to do with this, just let me know. This is all I can share for now. And I don't know if you would like to maybe have a Q&A session right now, but Mr. Jonas.
Yeah, Jonas.
Yeah, I would like you to demo on the UI and with regards to the
Jam. Like I said, Jam works specifically with web designs, right? Web applications. Like I said, I don't use a lot of web applications, right? So unfortunately for you, I wouldn't have a demo set up here. I don't even have Jam installed here. I use Jam on my own personal PC at home, right? So, and that was for side projects. So unfortunately, I do not have that set up here. So I can show you that. However, should you just go online and check for jam.dev, you see a lot of people doing incredible stuff with it. And it's really easy to use. You don't need intense technical know-how. It's self-explanatory. It's easygoing. So just in case you need help too, you can always reach out to me and I'll help.
Yes. Right.
Okay, so it's been a very great section. I think it's kind of simple, short, and precise, and of course a good hands-on and demo. I am very happy with the impact, and I'm glad this took place. Just on the records, Dennis is one of my. I manage Dennis in the office, so I had to bring him on board because I know what he does. He's my boy, doing very great stuff. I know. That's why I can't share some things here because I'm here. There are some things we can't share, but then I mean he's been very. That's why I say he's one of my AI. Very very passionate about AI. Honestly, when you come to Fido, that's one of his rules. When we have to do like when we have meetings and we're having discussions on how AI can help implementation of stuff, and you see we have deeper meetings on that. That is what we're discussing most times, and we are brainstorming on how we can bring in more AI stuff, what are we creating more agents and working on. So he's passionate about that and he's doing incredibly well on that. So that is why he needs to also be announced, and I'm glad he took us through this section. And this is just the most basic thing he could do. There are many other things he can do, but I want us to connect with him on LinkedIn. He's always there. He's there on LinkedIn. Connect with him, say hi to him. He's a very great potential. He can be a very good person to you as well. So don't joke with such resources. And again, just to know, Testafrig will bring you the industry standard of things you need to know. To be honest, we are not just here doing a thing because we want to have a sectional webinar. We are bringing something that can help you in your day-to-day life activities in your workplace, how you can make your work easier for you at your workplace, and that's what we intend to do. So I believe the first one by Salom has been a great one, and this second one by Dennis is incredible. So looking forward for February. I know there are so many things coming up in February. I want us to also maintain the same energy. In February, we'll be having new and more things coming in place. So please Let's also connect. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on our TikTok, on our Instagram, on Tester Freak. Make sure you follow us on so you can get more updates. And going forward, by February, we'll be receiving a newsletter to let you know what is in stock in our pipelines and what we're doing. That would also help you get abreast with what we have in the pipeline. We want to say thank you on behalf of Test Africa and all the leaders who are here. Emmanuel, I see you. Emmanuel is our Director of Strategy and Partnership. He's also here. And all other persons, I think I saw Sunny. Sunny is also head of media and publicity. Those of them that are here are doing incredibly well. We want to say thank you and do well to connect with us on our WhatsApp community. Oh, Salam, thank you so much. Salam was our first speaker for the year. Thank you so much for joining and being part of this event, this webinar. Thank you guys, and we look forward to having more meetings, more webinars like this, and also putting us more in the map. We are grateful for here. Kindly follow the link. Emmanuel will post on the chat. Follow us, join our WhatsApp platform for more updates. Follow us on LinkedIn and the rest of them, and we look forward to connecting more with you and giving more updates. Thank you so much, guys. And to Dennis, we appreciate your presence. Thank you for being a grateful resource to us and for taking us through this section for us to understand how we can utilize Rovo and use AI to help with our documentation and enhancing our test flows. This is a great one, and I believe many people reach out to you more in private to know how to do better. Okay, thank you guys, and to have a great one today. Bye.